Alright, we'll title this one Cleaning Out the Trash Pump. If you look right in here on my pump, this is on my intake actually, we've got a nasty clay slurry, and that's basically the last day I ran the pump. I was sucking out the bottom of a mud hole and it pulled in this sludge. The problem is now I go to pull the pump, try to start it, it's stuck, which means that my impeller inside is packed off in sludge. Probably just down here in the bottom is some sludge, which last day I ran it, I pulled the drain plug, I think. Oh yeah, okay, so I pulled the plug just now, and I don't know if you guys can see the gooey nasty, definitely some nasty mud running out of there, so I didn't drain it apparently, or didn't drain it all the way. So anyway, I broke my little my nuts here all the way around. That one I broke loose, but it's still pretty tight. So we'll just take all these loose and we'll take this whole housing off and see what's inside. Alright, so that was super easy. Got those 6 bolts out and you can see the nonsense that's in there. More of that watery sludge. But look at here, in my actual intake, this is actually like heavy clay all in here. This nasty crap's got to come out. And then my actual impeller housing in here right now is locked up, but I know I'll be able to get a pipe wrench on her here and break loose and just turn it over. But it's nothing permanent. I just got to do some work real quick and we'll get her flushed out here and get her broke loose again. So I moved out of the back of the truck, and basically all I'm doing is just flushing this out with a garden hose. What appears to really be sticking the impeller more than anything is sand. All down around the bottom here I had sand, which my soil out there at the farm, the surface soil is a very sandy, silty clay. And then of course we have the good red clay deeper below that. So I guess I picked up some of that sand and got it packed in here. Looks like there's still a little bit down in back there that y'all probably can't see in the shadows, but that's what really, it was all packed off down here in the bottom with sand. So really, even I think this mud that's settled on the inside of the impeller probably is really not a problem. But let's go ahead and get it cleaned out too, and we'll see if we can get this thing to turn over. Well, that was a rather interesting development. This whole part of the impeller just comes off once you pull those bolts. So I guess it just rides. Somehow it just rides inside the cavity there, or maybe, let's see, there's a little bolt stud there, it lines up with a hole. So this part doesn't actually turn. This part of your impeller here is what's directly connected to the engine, spins inside here, but this outer part of the impeller doesn't actually move. So that's kind of, it has the ability to wiggle a little bit because it's just one little pin goes on here. So it can wiggle, but there's actually an O-ring here that it's not supposed to leak, it's not supposed to bypass. So I guess just its shape of the cast iron is what assists in, you know, giving this thing the right capacity that it has for it to have suction and have the push power. So anyway, I flushed all the dirt and grit out, and then I went to pull it and it still wouldn't turn. But what I noticed was when I pulled on it, I noticed this thing wiggled. And so I was like, well, that's weird. So I went in and pulled it off, and it had gunk all inside there. Still seizing it up, but you can see now, reach around here and grab my little pull rope, it turns over no problem. So I mean, I'm pulling one-handed, kind of awkward, but no, it's not tight, it's pulling just fine. So anyway, I'm gonna get all the rest of this flushed out and get it put back together, and we'll see if we can't pop it off and start it just to make sure that everything's running smooth again. Well, there you go, put it back together, fire it right up like a kitten. This is kind of funny, watch this. Spray water in the inlet. This thing actually has a suction capacity too, which makes sense. So no water is running back out the inlet where I'm spraying it. It's all pumping out the top. So that's pretty impressive. That's good and handy. But anyway, I got it all cleaned out, put back together. So just wanted to fire it up, run it, make sure everything's kind of washed out, loosened up. Now I'm still getting this kind of milky looking water coming out. So I'm going to keep spraying fresh water in. I just want to make darn sure that 5 o'clock tomorrow morning when I got the farm and stuff needs to see stuff again. I got to do all this twice. So So what I wanted to explain to you guys was the challenges that I ran into. Everything comes apart super easy, almost too easy. And the issue being, when I went to put it back together, there was an O-ring on the back side of that cast iron housing on the inside, and it wanted to keep falling out. There's a big gasket O-ring that runs right around the edge here. It was fine, but the one on the back of that housing was really loose. It just wanted to fall off. As I went to put that housing back in there, or keep out saying housing, I don't really know what you call it. It's not an impeller. Went to put it back in there. It was kind of difficult to line up, more difficult than you think it should be. And so as I'm trying to line it up, of course, that O-ring keeps trying to fall off. But I got it set in there. Make sure all your surfaces are clean and smooth. And get it set in there and make sure it's set all the way in on that pin, because you can get it lined up on that pin, but it's not all the way in. And then you go try to put this outer housing on, and of course it won't go on. And luckily I didn't get to the bolting point, but went to line it up and was like, man, it's just not going on there all the way. So get it all lined, get it all clean, get it all lined up smooth, and it'll slip right back together, just slick as a whistle. So yeah, got her pulled apart. You know, this is a couple times after I'd run this thing the first time I got out to the farm, and I went to start it, and it did that to me, that the rope was stuck. And I thought, crap, you know, the freaking engine's locked up on this thing already, junk, Harbor Freight, whatever. But you know, I thought it was locked up, but it wasn't. It must have just had crap in there then too. I just got lucky that when I went ahead and primed it, I got water in there, kind of loosened everything up, and then it went ahead and popped off. So now I know what the issue was. Lesson learned. If y'all have a pump like this, you know, not even just necessarily this little Harbor Freight pump, but any trash pump like this, if you're sucking up real nasty water with it, clay, sandy sort of water, if you can, before you shut it down, run some fresh water through it. Just drop your hose over into, you know, some other water source, just something to flush it out, so you don't have to go through what I had to, taking this all apart. Yeah, it only took 30 minutes, but you know, it was senseless. I shouldn't have had to do it. So yeah, y'all save some effort. Hopefully this video saves some people some headache. Take care of your pumps.